Although it's fun to make our own jewelry, have you ever wished that you could make something more like fine jewelry? Well, actually you can. It's just a matter of choosing the right supplies. In today's video, I'll show you how to make a simple yet beautiful necklace out of quality jewelry findings. Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another jewelry making video at keepsakecrafts.net. So my idea for making this actually started when I saw an ad in Costco magazine for this really beautiful gold necklace that was oh so simple, and they used pearls as their dangles, and then they used gold components. And so I looked at it and said, well, I could do that. We could all do that. It's like I said in the intro, it's just a matter of choosing the right supplies. So I decided today that I'm going to use Swarovski crystals because they are well known to be beautiful and quality. And I have here a whole bunch of little 10mm hearts. If you can find nice pearls, the ones in that photo, half-drilled pearls, and you can find those in quality jewelry catalogs such as Fire Mountain Gems. But I decided to use what I had on hand. And so, like I said, I've got Swarovski crystals. I really love this shape of heart. These are called wild hearts, but I only have 2 of them, so I'll save these for another day. I really liked the ombre effect that they got in the one in the ad. So I chose a few hearts, and you could do anything you want with. You could use all 3 the same. This is a pretty combination. Whatever works for you. I thought these 3 colors would look really beautiful with gold filled or gold plated components. Now, if you can get them, I would use all gold filled components. Gold filled has a lot thicker coating of gold on it than gold plated. You've probably seen these products, the Gold Elegance, sometimes it says Gold Plated Elegance, and they're fairly inexpensive. These 18-inch necklace chains were only, I think, $12 and $15, and then I could use my 50% off coupons, so they were pretty inexpensive. I'm guessing the gold plating is probably quite thin. So if you can get gold filled, that's really nice quality. Like I said, more gold, a little thicker. And you'll need, of course, if you're going to make a necklace chain. I picked up both of these and discovered that neither one of them will work with my particular components. But I'll show you a workaround for that. You'll also need some jump rings. Now for these 10mm Swarovski hearts, the smallest you want to go is a 5mm jump ring, and I actually prefer a 6. I put this one on a 5mm jump ring, and it's a little tight because the hole goes straight, but the jump ring, of course, is curved. So you want to have something that gives it plenty of room. You can see how this moves really nicely in there. That's the difference between a 6 and a 5mm jump ring, but a 5 will work. And that's why I picked these up. These are 6mm gold-plated jump rings, gold-plated chain. I have a gold-plated lobster clasp. I also have some gold-filled oval jump rings, a gold-plated bail, and also some more really tiny 22-gauge gold-filled oval jump rings. And for the chain that we're going to hang our dangles from, it's actually not long short chain. I did a video on long short chain a few weeks ago, and it is not. This is actually figure 8 chain, and I just had a 4-inch piece left, and this will actually be perfect for our project. So the first thing you want to do is add your jump rings to your dangles. If you're doing something like a bead that has holes, then you could just use gold-plated or gold-filled head pins and make a loop. These, I didn't notice when I purchased them, they're closed, which means they were soldered closed. But all you need to do is find the spot where they were soldered, pop in your flush cutters, and they come right apart, right at that joint. If you need to make that clean, you may need to flip it around and just nip off that little pointy bit so that both edges of your jump ring are flush. You'll want to open these fairly wide to be able to get your hearts on there because they're kind of fat at the top. That goes on so much easier. If you try the 5mm, it's a little trickier. So go ahead and add your jump rings. So I've got the jump rings on my hearts. The colors of these, by the way, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check, but I believe this is rose, light rose, and Indian pink. So now we need to cut our chain that these are going to dangle from, and we want them on graduated lengths. And a good way to do that, if you have 3, is to cut one that's 1 unit, one that's 2 units, and one that's 3 units. And you can do that mathematically with your piece of chain or whatever you've got by dividing it by 6. Now this is a nice piece of gold-filled chain. And often you'll run into the same thing that I ran into my jump rings, where it's quality, your links are actually soldered closed. And that's the case with this chain. All of these links are soldered closed. So I'm going to have to sacrifice some. I'm going to sacrifice some of the figure 8 ones. And I actually counted my large oval links, and I have 18, which works out perfectly. So 3 will be one length, 6 will be another, and then 9 will be remaining, and that will be the other. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 of my oval links, and I'm just going to go in and ever so carefully cut just that figure 8 link. And because it's twisted, it may take a little work to get it off. You may have to make another cut to get that little piece off, depending on how small and tight it is. So there's my one with 3 links. And now I'm going to cut one with 6 links. So actually, as I'm looking at this, I think I don't want them quite so long. So I'm glad I took a look and visually checked. I think I probably want the next one to be this long. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next one to be this long. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. So I got 3, 5, and 7. So I'll still have a little tiny piece of this left over. So now I've cut out my chains, and I've added it to 2 of my hearts, and you might notice that I changed the order of these. I just looked at it, thought it looked better. And now I have this little tiny piece left, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But you know, when I had that 4-inch piece left over from another project, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. So you just never know. Someday it may turn out to be the perfect thing. And by the way, these are gold filled. And you know, gold is sold by the ounce. It's kind of pricey. So I've saved all those little pieces. You can often find places that you can turn them in and get a little money back. So then to add it, of course, you just open your jump ring and add one of the last links, one of the end links of your chain. Just like that. And of course you want to make sure that your jump ring is closed perfectly securely. Even then, just go ahead and turn that split so it's inside the heart. And isn't that pretty? That's a nice start. Now I have my bail here. So I'll have to open another one of my soldered jump rings. And what I'm actually doing here is trimming out just that little bit that has the solder. It's like I said, so I have 2 flat edges. And then it doesn't, taking out that little tiny bit doesn't affect the shape that much that it matters. The main thing is just to make sure that you close them securely. I might need one of those little ones if my jump ring was so big that it wouldn't fit through the loops of the chain that I had left. Oh, I got a little bit of that figure 8 chain left here. Honestly, I've mentioned it before, I can hardly see it. These are so tiny. And often when I work, when I'm in my studio, which is upstairs, my recording studio is in the basement. When I'm in my studio upstairs, I have a magnifying light, without which I would not be able to do a lot of what I do. There we go. And we'll pop on our bail. And again, close it very, very securely. And isn't that sweet? And nobody can tell you that this is artsy craftsy jewelry. This is gold-filled Swarovski crystals. Nice stuff. Okay, so I mentioned that my chain here was actually both of these. I got some snake chain and I got some twisty chain. Both of them were too wide to fit through my bail. I was quite bummed about that. See? Nope. So what I am going to do is cut it or just open a jump ring and split this chain into 2 halves. I think I can probably just open one of these little jump ring connectors. And now, actually, it would be a good use for this little bit of chain, but this is so decorative. I think I'll save it for something else. What I'm going to do is take these little jump rings. Remember that chain is really just a bunch of rings connected together. You know? And basically I am going to take these jump rings and make a length of chain long enough to go through that bail. And then they will connect to the halves of my necklace chain on either side. The cool thing about that is that it will keep your necklace from cocking off sideways on the chain. So I closed up one, popped it onto another one, popped on an end link of my necklace chain, close that up, and let's look at this. So this looks like I'm going to need maybe 5 of those, 5 or 6. I've added all my little extra links to my chain, and something I discovered while doing that and testing it out is that this chain actually will fit into the bail, but not smoothly. It kind of jumps and bumps along it. So I don't think I would change my mind and go back and skip this step. It makes it actually a little bit easier to add this final jump ring and close it up, because if you don't have that, you're going to have just a little tiny bit of room to work over here. But as it is, I can just slide that out of the way, grab the other end of my chain, that end has the clasp, pop on the jump ring. A cool thing would be if any of you know how to solder gold. Of course, you're probably not watching these videos if you're a goldsmith, but it would be lovely to be able to solder some of these key jump rings, like the one here and the ones at the hearts. But they really are secure as long as you are very careful to close them well. So then we add this one and close it up. So many of you have told me you've been inspired by and encouraged by my videos, and that just thrills me to pieces because, well, that's my gig. That's what I do. It's what I set out to do. And if you have, and if you enjoy my videos, you might consider becoming a patron, because my patrons not only have the satisfaction of knowing they're helping to support this channel, but they also get bonus tutorials and lots of extras and behind the scenes from me. So there you have it. If you're interested in the supplies I used, click on the link in the upper right of the video, or in the lower left at the end of the video, or in the description box. I will always have a blog post with a complete supply list and links to products. So before you ask me about a product, take a look at the blog post. It's probably there. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and take a look at my Patreon page for how you can help support these tutorials and get extras for yourself. Happy creating. Bye-bye.